Hey y'all, so jumping right in, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be replacing the frontal on this full frontal wig that was purchased from me. She's already worn this wig a bunch of times, and each time we've cut the lace back a little bit. So I told her we should just go ahead and replace the frontal. And so the first thing I did was cut off the old frontal, and this is how it looked after I did that. Cut it as close as possible so the seam is seamless when you go attach the frontal to the back. So because of the way her hairline is, it was better to fit it on her head instead of the mannequin to make sure the frontal isn't bubbling up. Like, you know how when it's not stretched properly, the frontal kind of gets that little bubble in the front. So here you just see me tugging from end to end to make sure it's going to be stretched properly once I do go to attach the back. And yes, I'm going to have her hold it the entire time. So I just make sure that they're not pulling on it. It's better if they just press down, because a lot of times when I give my clients the lace to hold it, they like to pull on it and then it's starting to move. So I just tell them to use the palm of their hand to press down so that it doesn't move, if that makes sense. So here, like I said, I'm just going to attach the front to the back, and I'm going to make sure the stitches are as close as possible so that, like I said, it's seamless, and also so the front isn't bubbling up. So I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little tough trying to stitch the frontal to the wig because that last track is usually hard to get through, but just have a little patience and make sure your stitches are close, and I promise it's going to be seamless like nothing ever happened. So like I said, I'm just having her hold the frontal, and I'm doing it on her head because she has a really unique hairline. But I also have another video that I'll link down to the bottom where I'm actually changing out the frontal on a mannequin. So you can go ahead and check that out if you want to see how I do that. But this is the final result after I attach the whole frontal. Now it's time to install the wig, but first I'm going to cut out her ears. Then I'm going to use my favorite wax stick, which is the Luster's Nutrient Slick Stick, and I'm going to take that to the frontal before I press everything out with my hot comb. So now that I'm sure everything is fitted properly, I'm just going to take my scissors and cut straight down the middle so that I know where the middle is, and then I'm going to cut on the two sides so I'm able to easily work with the frontal. In addition to the middle split, I just put a dot in the middle so it lines up exactly how I have it. And because she has this U-shaped hairline, I'm just thinning out the middle part where it curves up so that it looks more natural. And so this is how it's going to look on the inside once the wig is put together. And now I'm just going to apply the glue. And so for every install, I use two glues. I usually will use a clear glue and then I'll use a white glue. I find that the clear glues are usually more protecting against sweat, but it's hard to build. So I'll go ahead and put 3 other coats of the white glue to still give it a hold, but it's not as messy as the clear glues usually are. Now the glue that I'm using here is the Relentless Waterproof Bond. I think this glue works great against water and sweat, so I love using this as my first layer. And then I'm just going to take that popsicle stick and smooth everything out so that it's a nice thin layer. So with the clear glue, you want to make sure it's dry but not too dry. So when you touch it, it shouldn't come up like melted cheese. It should still be a little tacky. Just make sure it's not all the way dry. The white glue that I'm using here, it's pretty popular. It's the Ghost Bond glue, but the funny thing is I actually don't use neither one of these glues anymore. I recorded this video quite a while ago and I've changed glues, both clear and white. And so my point is, it doesn't really matter what glue you use. It more so matters how you apply the glue. And so that's why I like using these popsicle sticks, because you can build layer on top of layer and each layer will be thin and even. And when it's even, it'll dry even. And that's the main goal, is to make sure all of your glue is drying even all the way across. And so like I said, I usually do like 3 or 4 layers of the white glue depending on how I feel. Sometimes I'll do 3 and then I'll put the got to be and then put a 4th layer before I lay the lace. So that's usually how that goes. But sometimes if it's too much, I'll just do the 2 and then I'll do the got to be on the cap and then lay the 3rd one. So really just eye it and make sure your glue is clear. That's just the main objective. Make sure you can see through the glue and see skin. That's all that matters. No white, no wetness, nothing. Like just straight clear. It should look like glass. And so now I'm just laying the lace in as promised. Like I said, it's way more flexible when you cut the slits in the front of the lace. You can bend it and lay each part down piece by piece, and then you can see what you actually doing. So I love using this method to lay down fresh lace. So I just put another layer on the other side. I'm letting the air dry, and then I'm going in with the blow dryer on this side, and then I'm going to go back on the other side and then lay those other pieces down. When you go to lay this down, you can do it piece by piece, and you can actually see what you're doing. And I'm really in the way a little bit, but I'm just pressing the lace into the glue and making sure everything is nice and neat. And then here I go with the blow dryer again, just making sure I'm pressing everything in to the glue. And then the little part that I may have missed, I'm just going in with the glue again. I like to cut off the excess lace before I use the elastic band to melt it, because I find that it gives it a more accurate seal. I feel like when I do it after, it leaves me with a lot of lace left over, and I end up having to go in with the glue again. When I do it like this, I'm usually able to see more so what I'm doing when I'm cutting it, and I don't have to go back in as much with the glue. So I know a lot of people do it differently. This is how I like doing it. So yeah. So like I said, she got this lace for me, and as you can see, it's already coming out the scalp, but I'm just going to put a little bit of skin tone concealer on it to make sure everything is blended really well before I go ahead and put her under the dryer with the elastic band to melt everything together. After sitting under the dryer for 10 minutes, this is what we get, and I'm just going to show you a little close-up. Like I said, coming out the scalp. So the rest of the video is really just me styling the wig. She's just getting 2 braids in the middle, so I'm going to show you that. And she likes a lot of baby hair, so I'm going to show you that as well. But that's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the video from here on out. If you have gotten this far and you've learned something, please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you on the next one. Love you. Bye.
Whatever I'm not fulfilling, another woman is willing. I'm going for